Hi everyone, so I ordered 5 new colors from Daniel Smith, and when I say new I mean new to my collection. They aren't actually new to the range. So one of them is a Primatech color, which means it's made from a genuine rock. 3 of these colors were kind of inspired from the color scheme of Jeanne Oliver, and she has this interesting color scheme, and I'm not entirely sure actually if she has these particular colors in her collection. I couldn't see it in the book, and but the colors themselves are sort of that kind of muted color scheme, and I just kind of, I don't know, I really wanted to add them. And Sodalite Genuine is something I've been looking at for a long time, along with Suicide Genuine, and for some reason my Suicide Genuine on the swatch card looks very different to the Suicide Genuines that I've seen other people use, so I'm not sure whether it's something to do with the actual paint that dried up, or I'm not entirely sure. It looks very faint, and it doesn't have that amazing granulation quality to it that I've seen other people use it, and hence why I decided to go for the Sodalite Genuine, which is this one. So it's like a bluish kind of grey, and I love this type of colors, like Payne's grey, and all of that. So if I compare Payne's grey next to it, so here's Payne's grey and here is Sodalite Genuine. So it's more blue, and because it's genuine it will have that granulating kind of interesting effect to it. So dot cards are definitely the best thing when it comes to saving money for, you know, picking the colors that you want to add to your watercolor collection. And you can see them right there, and you can sort of use that same piece of little dried up dot of watercolor. You can just try on your favorite paper, etc. So some of them are quite hard to revet and others not. So I think the hardest one was the small genuine, and I think this one wasn't easy, the rare green earth as well. So a couple of them, but generally they're quite good. And yeah, like I said, you can just try it out. Now, Potter's Pink was a color that I kind of was interested in, but wasn't sure whether it's a color I should add to my collection, purely because it's just so kind of pale that I wasn't sure I needed. So here is the Potter's Pink, but actually Daniel Smith Potter's Pink is a very pretty kind of blush color, and that's why I decided to add it. Now there are 2 colors which I picked by purely looking at the swatch card, and I don't know what it was in the evening, and there are 2 colors that I really didn't need. So it's a green and a purple, and I'm someone who uses purple on a very rare occasion, unless it's the right purple and it has to be a certain hue. So I'm not a big fan of purples. However, for some reason that evening, this purple totally spoke out to me. I found it so gorgeous that I was confused why I never looked at it before and wanted to add to my collection. It's a very unique purple. It's hard to describe. It seems very clear, and it's not too dark, not too light, but it has that perfect vibrancy to it, and it's just gorgeous. It's the Cobalt Blue Violet. And the other thing is, since we're looking at this, Spring Green. So they're actually in one line, and looking at the greens and the purple, them two go so well together. That's how my mind works when it comes to colors. I kind of see colors that work together really well, and I want to add them. So I thought that was really nice, because on its own it almost looks a little bit unnatural, but not as much as, say, for example, these 2. These are way too acidic, kind of, you know, like acid green colors. whereas this one is a little bit more muted compared. I was interrupted by a call, so I'm not sure where I left off. So I think I was talking about how I pick colors. Now, the other color I haven't shown you on the dot card is the Lunar Blue. I don't know why, I kind of was gravitated towards it, and it's this color actually in the same row as these two, the purple and the green. So it's like a interesting bluish gray again. I love these type of kind of hues, and it seems to have a little bit of that moon glow and what's the other, shadow violet kind of quality to it, where it separates a little bit into another color. So there's like a blue and gray separation there, so I thought that would be quite interesting to play around with. And those are the 5 colors that I ordered. Now I started by squeezing out the Lunar Blue, and it was really escaping, and I like to share that with you as I squeeze them out to let you know what the consistency of the color is, so that you know, when we do the swatches, you will also know how thick or how liquid the color is, etc. So I've just done that with Lunar Blue, and then I will do the rest together. Let me just clean up my table a little bit, and we can proceed to the swatches. Okay, so let's continue with Sodalite Genuine. So this is the only genuine color from this order, and it is escaping just ever so slightly, and it seems quite thick. Okay, so the binder has separated a little bit, so it's the gum arabic solution that they use for the binder, and that's not a problem. So if that happens to you, all you need to do before you start swatching it, you just need to make sure you really mix the binder back in with the paint, with the pigment, and that way it will be absolutely fine. Just do a bit of mixing, because if you don't, it might behave a little bit weird, but there's nothing wrong with the paint itself. Now I'm noticing that the Lunar Blue has already gone quite matte, so I wonder whether that's an indication of how dense the pigment will be. The next one is Potter's Pink. Oh, that's a nice liquidy color, and like I said, I do like Daniel Smith Potter's Green versus... Oh, still not coming. What happened there? That's a little bit strange. Basically, I had to squeeze almost a third of the Potter's Pink for me to get this little bit amount of. So I'll have to contact Jackson's about this. This is where I order my paints from. Cobalt Blue Violet. Yes, so I was saying Potter's Pink versus other brands is a lot more kind of interesting, I find, and pretty as well. And Spring Green. The actual color on the tube is so off-putting for me personally. It's the type of green that I absolutely hate. But let's see what it looks like in paper, on paper rather. Okay, so let's start with Lunar Blue. Now I have a feeling with Lunar Blue, it might be one of those paints that would be hard to re-wet if you, say, squeezed it into a little half pan to have it on the go, something like that. But it's hard to say just yet, just judging by the swatches. So that's a very beautiful color, very nice. I like how it already behaves before it even had a chance to properly settle. Very nice. And then I'm going to just take it out a little bit, because that's where we're going to see. Yes, you can see that. Can you see the magic happening? As soon as I added a bit more water, it just transferred into this gorgeousness. Oh my god, I have to bring it up closer to you. You have to see this. Look at that. Magic. What a stunning color. So So the next one is Sodalite Genuine, and like I said, before I'm going to do anything, I'm just wetting my brush, and with not too much water in there, I'm just going to, first of all, this bit here is really hard, so this must have dried up right at the top of the tube. So I'm just going to try and mix it up into very creamy solution. Yes, I think it's starting to dilute, or to soften rather. There we go. It's softening. I'm definitely going to save this paint because it's a genuine, so there is no way I would want to throw it out, so save it to use it up completely. Okay, so it's done now. I'm going to try and take some of this out because there's way too much on my brush. Okay, so I'm going to start by this and wasting a bit of the pigment really, but I had just too much. Okay, my goodness, look at this beauty. Gorgeous, gorgeous color. Because this is almost looking like black, I'm just going to go into it and just work it into the rest of the swatch. Very nice. I'll try to lift some of this just to give a nice variety. Oh, look at that. I've just seen this. Can you see that separation here? Isn't that incredible? Right there. It turned to bright blue and like a black and bright blue. Very interesting. Okay, so same thing we have going on here with the Potter's pink. So this color was apparently used from like in the old age, traditional watercolorists back in like, I don't know, 1600 or something like that. Whenever basically watercolor was first invented, this color was used by the classic artists when they were doing watercolor paintings in England. So that's why it's called Potter's Pink. And once I have mixed it up, now again I'm going to unfortunately lose some of the pigment because it's way too thick, so I need to wash it out. It's very thick and you can get it to quite an opaque state, but I'm interested in it when it's like that. I'll try to make it a bit more thicker here just to have different strength. So you can see these three colors go very well together. Now I'm going to have a bit of a clash because the next two, they will not work with these very well, but they do look together separately very well. So that's the purple. I'm going to place it right here. It's a very vibrant, beautiful purple. I would assume it needs quite a bit of water. And there we go, beautiful color. Okay, and then finally, so this was the Cobalt Blue Violet, and then we have the Spring Green, which looks quite bright at the minute, but it might behave differently on paper as well as when drying up. So doesn't look like the color I expected, to be honest. Looks a little bit too bright, but let's see once it dries. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and title the swatches, dry them, and then share them with you. Oh, the other thing I'm starting to see is a little separation of pink in this violet, which also makes it quite special. So the only color in question at the moment is the Spring Green, but like I said, let's just wait a little. Alright, so here they are all nice and dry now, and it is interesting to see that basically these three have that beautiful quality to them where they look like 3D paints, so they separate beautifully and create that nice texture without you needing to do anything to it. So yeah, I absolutely love that. Now my Lunar Blue actually looks a lot more interesting than it does on the swatch. Let me just pull it out again to show you. So here it is on the dot card. So this is the Lunar Blue right here. And here is my Lunar Blue right there. So you can see that that's why it's important to actually have a little dot of color available to try it out on the paper that you'll be using it on and see how different it may look, because you know, I kind of saw this already there with a bit of the separation of the pigments. However, here it just done it so much differently, maybe because it was freshly squeezed out of the tube or the paper, I don't know. It could be both that resulted in this, but yeah, so that's that. Now it's the only series 2 paint, the others are higher. Let's look at the pigments. It's got a combination of 2 pigments as I predicted before, so it's got a pigment blue 15 and pigment black 11, so it's very clear here that separates into those 2 pigments. Sorry if it was out of focus. Now Sodalite Genuine is a series 4 because it is a Primatech color, so it's going to be quite a bit more expensive compared to others, and there is no obviously pigment information because it's made from a genuine rock or a stone. And then we are looking at Potter's Pink, which is a so these 3 are all series 3, so they're quite expensive, and so this is the pigment Red 233 and it's a single pigment. Then we're looking at the Cobalt Blue Violet, very, very beautiful. Also looks a little bit more interesting than on the swatch card here. So if I somehow hold them like that, hopefully you can see. There you go. And so this one is a 2 pigment mix, pigment blue 28 and pigment violet 19. Again, having a blue and a violet means there will be this gorgeous separation of pigments. Very unique color. I have to say that when you look at Daniel Smith colors, the other brands kind of start to look a little bit boring. There's some very special colors and very unique colors in Daniel Smith range, and it's I don't know, for me, I really am appreciating Daniel Smith more and more. I think I loved his watercolors from the get-go, but the more I'm kind of investing into it, the more I appreciate them. So the final color is the Spring Green, and it's sort of there is something about it that makes me quite curious. So it's a 3 mix pigment, and being a series 3 again is going to be more expensive than the others. So again, hopefully you can see that here. So that's what it looks like. So mine looks a little bit more kind of yellowy than the one on this paper. Now I'm not sure if I would use it as it is or whether I actually would mix it with other colors. And so the mix here is 2 yellow pigments and 1 green. So there is a PY 53, PG 36, PY 151. So those are the colors. I won't be mixing them today. I just wanted to show you the first impression and share, you know, the swatches, and that is it. I'm very surprised about this color. I didn't expect it to be like that, and I'd say I love all 4, and kind of still uncertain about this color, so I'll see what I can do with it. I think mixing it up a little bit would be interesting. However, it already has quite a few mixes here, and these just look gorgeous to be on their own. They just don't need any mixing. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you soon.